guys, and welcome back to another episode of Create Astral. I'm ChosenArchitect, and I hope you guys are ready. Boy, oh boy, do I have big projects planned out for today. I've gone and I have set up this monstrosity. So with last episode, we ended up using a setup very similar to this. Underneath our house, or underneath our main base area, I wouldn't really call it a house. But we did set this up. So underneath here, we have an alternator running and we have pretty much the same thing going, except this is two of those. So over here, we have two different ones set up. I have it set up in a different configuration. And believe me, you don't really want to see underneath. It is just a mess of cogs. Just keep in mind, if you are powering two of the boilers, you do need to have this gear ratioed up 1. And that is going to use, because you can't actually, as I did some experimenting, you can't just use one water wheel to power all 4 of these, because the cogs themselves cost just enough stress units to break the whole setup. So unfortunately, you can't get away with one water wheel to power 4 of these, as I tried. So there are 4 water wheels powering all 8 of the boilers here. But this should be enough. Now, the idea behind this is the entryway into these areas, right? And this wall is what I want to sort of have the input and output receptacles. I want to be able to go, okay, I need blah, blah, blah. I put it into the chest. Let's say I need plates. This is my plate processor. I put the items in here. The plates then get processed, and then they get shipped back into my output container. I think that's reasonable. I think this is a really reasonable way to set this up. Same thing goes for the other processes over here. I would love to be able to just give it the items needed, and it gives me the items back. I feel like that would be pretty smart. And now there are still other things we need to set back up, like full automation for copper and tin, for example. That's going to take an entire station in an area to set up. I was doing some experimenting, and my goodness, that's going to be a project. But over here, I figured out on these conveyor belts, I could definitely simplify these way, way more. I think what I'm going to end up using is the create storages and make this way, way smoother. I'll use item vaults and extend an item vault from one project completion area to another. That way they can just go into there, and the buffer will allow them to rotate in and out. And then of course we'll have an input point and then an output point. And we won't even have a need for the weighted ejector. I think we can save tons of space doing that. Now, there's some things that I'm going to need as we get started here, right? So some of the basic processes that we do all the time, things that happen all the time. We need to make copper wire. We need to make rods. So we'll need 2 of these, 2 rolling mills set up with hopefully their automation in some form set up. If we can do that, we definitely need a plate press. That is probably gonna be one of the most used things. It seems like I'm always making plates. So we're gonna need a press and potentially some way to grind materials maybe. But let's first start off with our press. Now, setting up the input-output plate processing, this should be fairly simple to do. We'll need a shaft. Shaft goes here. I'm not gonna worry about power for right now, as we do have a centralized source. But we're gonna set up a belt, and then we'll just place the press right here on top. And then to make this as simple as possible, we'll have a funnel and then another funnel. And then we'll need to make sure that these are going in the proper direction. So this is pulling one item out at a time. This is putting one item in at a time. And so there is an input and output set up directly for plates, which we make all the time. So now let's figure out what to do next. Now for this same sort of concept, I'm going to be setting up a millstone. And so we should be able to do the same thing here as well. And I think this is just like making my life so much easier with these little setups here, right? So belt from here to here, and then we'll have the millstone on the middle. Oh, this actually might need to be extended actually, because we can't have a funnel on both sides. So to do this, to make this a little bit simpler, let me change up the design here. So to change up the design is actually not that much different, right? So we'll take our belts, and the belt will just go here and here, and then we'll have the millstone on top. We still have to get, power, like I said, to all of these things. But let's go in and grab some basic funnels. We'll have a funnel here, and a funnel here, here, and here. And so this is very, very simplified. Now, if this is our input, we want to make sure that this goes in and this is pulling out. I don't think we have to have a filter on this. I think this should only output the items that it is actually milling, right? Really hard to tell until we get this actually functioning. We may have to use something. We may have to use other than andesite funnels. Same thing goes for like this over here. I think andesite funnels are fine. They only put out one at a time versus the brass funnels, which can do a stack at a time. But I think one at a time should be okay, so long as we speed this up fast enough. Now, the same setup should apply for the rollers as well. We should be able to get the same thing set up just like this, but right here. So let me grab out the barrels. This will be the setup for rods, and this can be the setup for the wire. I think that's fine for right now. I don't know if it's like something to do, like to have that not automated. Like we'll probably have to focus on that later on, but for now, I'm hoping that this will work. Just for a temporary solution, just so I'm not seem like I'm crafting it all the time. And this setup is going to be very similar to this. It's just going to be the exact same. I think we'll just do 2 different belts and then have this go in. Because I don't know if there's a simpler way to do this, but this will definitely work. And thus we can power all these belts. As you can see, we should be able to power all these belts with the same sort of setup and just run it across. Now, the idea behind my power is I technically have these 2 different systems that are able to share the stress. So this should be around 8,000 on the bottom and 8,000 up here, total of like 16,000 stress units. But only the top 2 and the bottom 2 are connected to each other. So that gives me a little bit of flexibility here. If I place one of these down, I notice the rotation is definitely not where I want it to be. So what I might have to do is extend this out. I want my rotation to be like this. Actually, no, we do want it to be turned to the side here. We can transfer the power over. So this does work, but I want to be able to access the panel here. So the cog needs to go on top, and this is how we're going to get the speed over here. I think what I'm going to do is just connect this up. Just simply connect up. Unfortunately, my chest can't reach far enough. So there we go. So I want this to run into here for now. And we'll have a gearbox that gets that power moving. Actually, let's do a vertical gearbox. Vertical gearbox is going to move that down. And I still only have access to 1. Okay, there we go. That gearbox will go here. And then shafts into that. Okay, now I don't know what direction this is spinning just yet. We'll figure that out later. But if we connect the shaft in, there we go. We have this working, and I can come over here and I can adjust the speed to whatever is currently available, right? Now, this is going the wrong way, so that I already know I should probably change. Just by throwing in another gearbox, we can get that rotation change directions. Let's pop in that. There we go. And then in between each of these should be a gearbox. And then this should be a gearbox. And so we're going to have a gearbox going in between each one of these segments. How convenient is this? Like, this is just going to be very, very convenient. Plus, we have access right here, so that way we can connect directly in to get this all charged up. Yeah, and this will get all of the belts rotating in the direction that they're supposed to be rotating in. Will it rotate this belt correctly? It will not. So I will need just to use a shaft here, and bam. Now we have the direction rotating correctly. How convenient is that? Perfect. And then this, we can use a vertical gearbox here, and then connect the shafts just like that. And now the plate is working. And then a vertical gearbox here for this. And then we can just put a cog on top of that. This one is going to need 2 vertical gearboxes. Now, I don't know if it matters what direction this is rotating. This actually might cause a problem. I think this is rotating the correct way, where it takes the items in and pushes them out the side. So there we go. Everything is now connected with some power. And we can crank this up. And of course, later on, this will be better used to get everything going. and figuring out how much stress and make sure we maximize our stress units and everything. But perfect. Let's go ahead and test this with some plates. So let's take some iron, for example. Actually, we have a bunch of iron. Let's do copper, because we always need copper plates. And all I have to do is grab the copper, toss that in. Oh, and that is getting shot out. Oh, is that because... Oh, the belt's spinning the wrong way. Well, that's not what I thought it was going to do. We need this spinning the other direction. Then this was correct initially with the gearbox that was in it. So let's make sure to put the gearbox back. And there we go. Now it's spinning the right direction. Awesome. Put that in. And now you can see it's a pretty quick way of getting myself some plates. Look at that. And then same thing should go for the mill. If I take like a stack of these rubber logs, we should be able to get ourselves some resin very quickly. Just like that. You can see the resin populating. Perfect. So that's running. Now, oh, resin. That's a thing. We do need a mixer set up. And we might be able to fit a mixer setup on the other side, probably. So I was thinking of how I was actually going to set up the mixer. And I was looking through the recipes, and this is a little bit more complex than I think I was initially expecting. But there is one thing that we're always making, and that is rubber. And it's similar into the lines with this setup. So I was thinking, why don't I just set this up right above this? And maybe start thinking more vertically, because at the moment I have not been thinking vertical at all. And so this would be a good solution to that, I think. So we can have this go up, and then I can just do another set of barrels. Let's see. Let's get over here. We can do another set of barrels above this. Hopefully I can get them going in the proper direction. But yeah, like this. A set of barrels. Bam. There we go. Actually, no, this has to go up one higher. Actually, that will look much better. I think it going up is a much better solution. Yeah. Okay. So these still need to stay here, but we need to take the belt, connect here, and then I'm gonna put the mixer here, right above this. So I need a block above that, and then this goes here. That's perfect. And we can specify the recipe on this, I think. I don't think there's a way... I don't think there's a reason we should change that. The funnels will go in the same direction. Let's go ahead and give this a place for us to place our barrels. Actually, we'll place that there, so that gives me something to place the barrels on. There we go. That's looking fancy. It's looking very fancy. And then once we have all the structures and everything built around this, this will look really, really good. The next thing we need is funnels. Just like everything else, it gets a funnel. This needs to be rotated to go inward. This already spits the output out, so I don't really have to worry about that at least. And we're good on this. So this is going to make the resin. So we'll just get the mixer on top. And then we just need to take the power that we have right here and send this up. So that could be done. Well, the vertical will be easily done with this. We can just stick that here, and that goes up one more, and then we throw in a cog at the top. Mixer part is done. And then as far as this part goes, we need to turn this into a vertical gearbox. So vertically, that will work. Let's hope that this is going in the proper direction as well. It is not, so that means we're going to need another gearbox right in here. Thankfully, we have a bunch of these from all our quest rewards. So there that goes, and then I should be able to just use another regular gearbox in here. And nice! So we now have a vertical set going. So this will produce sap, and then this should produce, as you can see, that should pop out of there. That'll produce rubber. Nice. So I have noticed a problem that is happening right here, but this is actually fixable. if we put a block right here, no longer will that spit the items out into the open for us. And I might have to do that for all of these setups, so that way we don't have overflow happening. Also, I think another good way is a trap door. I'll use andesite for this. Actually, trap doors. How many of those we have? We have plenty. I think this will work with a trap door, so long as the trap door is directly against it, as if it's a faced block there. So yeah, I think a trap door right here will prevent that from happening, and it's much cleaner looking. I guess there's only one way to find out, right? We can just throw the sap in there, and if it's over a stack, it should stop on this belt. Well, there's not a good way to tell, is there? Because it all processed. I think we'll have to look at this in the future, but yeah, a normal block, a full block will definitely stop. Now, other things that I can have set up here is we can actually have our infinite resources that we'll be generating set back up here as well. So there's a few things that I want to do, right? I need to set back up, and that is our iron, right? Iron nuggets was a thing, so the infinite iron, and we can speed this up now and get this process going. So we're gonna need like 2 cobble gens, right? So cobble and clay. Well, I guess it'll produce flint. It's going to produce iron and clay, and we can probably set that up all back here and have those funneled into some barrels. Now, setting up that iron and clay and flint setup, I'm working on this. This is going to be the cobble gen. It's going to be directly over a belt, so that way it can just collect. I have a funnel so that way more than one at a time can go into the millstone. I'm hoping I can get the millstone fast enough, all this stuff fast enough to make this a little bit better than it was initially. But I want to split this up. So once we get to gravel at this point, we actually need the belt line to change. So we need to split up the gravel into 2 separate areas. One of the easiest ways to do that is to use a brass tunnel. And so I should be able to take this and connect that to another belt line, right? And we can keep this belt line the same right here. We'll just extend, right, until it's maxed out. So we'll have that extended. And then this will be the new belt line, right? And we'll have both of the processes happening side by side. Now, to get the items from here and get them to split evenly, this is where this comes into play. So this is a brass tunnel, and we can actually configure this to split this separately. Now, I think I want the output here to be single items, so that way it's a little bit easier to manage this. On here, we can set this to when multiple outputs are available split. That is kind of what I want it to do, but that would be split if it was a full stack. Like if a full stack was coming out here, we'd want it to split the items. We could leave it that way. I don't actually have a problem with it being that way, but if it spits one item at a time, that's when we'll have a problem. So actually, let's try this. Let's put this here, and so the items will end up coming out of here. They'll get split and should end up on these conveyor lines doing different things, right? Now, because one of these is going to be washing, that's where we are going to want to set up a buffer storage. And then on this line, we're going to want a millstone, another millstone, because the millstone is going to be grinding this from gravel into sand, and then we'll take it to the next process. So let's go ahead and set that up. If there is going to be multiple, I want to make sure to use brass for this, just so we can make this faster. I might, yeah, unfortunately, like, we have these 2 running. I'm hoping this is enough. We're using almost half of what we currently have available, just with all these machines running at the speed it's running at. So we'll see what we can do. Now, I think up here is where I want that storage to be. So what I need to do is get this up to there. Now, here's a cool little thing you can do. If you set up your belt line and you got your belt set up and you notice this isn't high enough, you can just right click here and then that'll extend it up to get it up just 1 higher, or vice versa, right? So this will actually take it up vertically, which is pretty darn neat and very helpful for setting up your belts. Now I do need to extend this to get that there, get this rotated. When I say this, I mean the shaft. And there we go, we have our belt line ran. Now, this is where like I said, I need the buffer chest to go. The buffer chest is going to be 2 barrels. I think 2 barrels are fine right here. We don't even really need this. I think I can put brass tunnels right here. But now that I look at it, this is 1 storage. The way I can fix this is actually by utilizing the new storage, right? The storage that Create provides. And these are called item vaults. And this should allow us to sort of send the items through this this belt line here. And so if I place this here, it now acts as a sort of a buffer storage. And so if I grab some funnels, actually we cannot use funnels here now that I mention it. This actually has to be, let's get a little bit closer so I can access my inventory. This is, yeah, we can't use funnels. We're actually going to have to use brass funnels for this. Let me go grab some. So here we go. Now the idea behind this is that we'll have both of these set here. And the goal is that they're filtered. We're going to have to filter them because underneath here is going to be the thing that is actually washing both of these. So one of them is going to be washed. That's going to hopefully get us an abundance of clay. There's going to be a fan down here on both of these. Both of them is going to be set up for washing. I think that seems reasonable. Now, what you can do with that being washed is you can actually extend these like that, and they'll set right here. So with them like this, you would have to wash this block right underneath here, and it would be a little awkward. If you get it to right here, you can actually sometimes get 2 items set up, but in our case, it's just going to be 1 because we're going to have a thing setting up here. And it'll be a stack of whatever this is dropping out of it, hopefully. Let's grab that off there. You can see if we place that there, this will be what's getting washed. Same thing on this side. And I think I have my encased fans with me. Yes. So these are going to get water above them. So let's grab this and this. Cased fan is just going to go right here. The other one's going to go right there. Nice. And then, like I said, the water goes above them. Now that all of that is ready to go and ready to be powered up, I have my basic storage units that are going to go right here. And these are going to have the items accepting. Now, I set this up in a particular order because flint seems to be the one thing that we gather a ton of. And then with it set like this, flint being the last, we can guarantee that if there's excess flint, or really any material that is excess on here, we can set up a cactus or something right here that just yeets the items out of existence. And I think that is fantastic. So, last but not least, we should be able to put this on here. I don't know if we're going to have to upgrade this to brass or not, but that should work. We don't need that belt down there. Everything's looking pretty darn good. I think this is this is all of our stuff automated. All we got to do is get the gin hooked up. Before I get the cobble gin hooked up, I am going to try and get this all powered. Now, thankfully, I do have everything now powered, so I should be able to kind of clear some of my inventory here. I have everything powered. The thing is I'm going to need my filter, and I'm also going to need to get the items out. So I have clay, flint, and we're also going to need iron nuggets. So there we go. So all of these items in, that should be the thing we need to filter. Now, one of these filters need to be multiple items. So that is going to be flint and iron, and we can go ahead and make sure that's on allow list and complete that. So we know what that filter is. And that should be the one that is going right here. That is just going to be gravel. And once you flip these, the filter's on the top. This one needs to be clay. That's pretty straightforward. And hope that we can get this. Now, the best way to set this up is to probably have multiple cobble gins going on this. And we can probably, I think we can stack these to do that and to have multiple drills mining and just keep stacking this taller. And we could probably get away with a single thing of lava to do that. But for right now, we're just going to stick with what we have. And that will be water going in this slot, which should be fine. I'm a little worried about having a belt here. I might end up switching this back to gearboxes, but overall, this should hopefully function as soon as we put lava in this. So let's get this done. Let's get the lava put in and get everything up and running. By the way, I did turn off fire spread right here. Yeah, fire spread is an absolute no-no as well with this mod. I'd recommend turning it off in your world as well. Notice, by the way, this not going where I want it to go. Let's try and block this off a little bit. And making sure it only goes in one place. It should go down here. It shouldn't... It's getting like flung in the air for some reason. It should not be doing that. There's no way it's fast enough. It should be landing on the belt, which I think it is. Because this is crushing. It's just, it seems like it's going slow enough that it's not actually being effective. Okay, so I'm definitely going to need to change this up. So I guess a hopper is going to be what is going to be necessary here. I should have a hopper laying around. And I'm going to have to use a hopper. I'm going to have to redesign some of the power situation that we have going on, but I think having a hopper underneath connected to the belt is going to be the best solution to this problem. So let me connect into the belt here and drag that back along. I have to like journey all the way over here. That should connect. The hopper, however, should connect to the bottom there. And that should place it onto the belt. As you can see, it is there. And then I will just use another belt to transfer from here to here. That'll probably be the cheapest option. So those belts. So yeah, I'll just transfer the power from here to here like that. And you can see the items getting flung out every now and then. It's really odd. I wish there was like a dedicated cobble gen in this pack. It is now working. Yes, and it is working phenomenally. We have 75% of our use going. I'm going to fix that here in a minute. We're using about 80. I think we have a little bit of wiggle room because I got to get this turned back on. But I have the hopper that is now going underneath. The only way to make this better would be to allow it to stack the cobblestone into the system. But for right now, this is functional. And I'm about to change all of this and make it work even better. Everything's going. I did set this up over here to only send out when it has a stack of gravel. Then it sends out the stack of gravel. This gets split into 32 and 32. I feel like I'm playing Satisfactory here. And then it goes into here, and this waits for that 32 to be finished entirely before sending it to be washed. Making it a little bit more efficient than having every single item go in to be washed and always have that operating. Now, I am currently working on this, and we're just about ready to go, right? I wanted to have this going, but this is in the way. This, I want the speed to be doubled if I can. And to do that, we should be able to throw this in here, get a shaft going, vertical gearbox, and voila! This is now spinning way faster. That is using 768 stress units on its own. That is pretty ridiculous. And is now utilizing 85% of our total going. And this is just, these are very simple to set up. Like, and they're not like expensive either. Like, these are just plates, which we now have automated, or not really automated, but the process is ready to go. We just toss the plates in, get that going. We could just go ahead and just use the rest that we have here to just go ahead and speed this up. Can we get away with that? What are we at? We're at 99. So that's as fast as we can go right there. Everything that is on this line is now running at 99% capacity. We literally have 26 stress units remaining. This thing is blazing fast now compared to what we did have going. And I'm hoping it works. I'm hoping it works. The only way that we can, like I said, make this faster would be just to... Actually, we don't even need more cobblestone because it still seems to be... Actually, it seems to be just enough. Just enough to get the job done. That is fantastic. Oh, wait, I said probably even more. Too much. Amazing. Now, of course, the goal is to have all of this built up and then have this sort of behind closed doors sort of thing. I still want windows to be able to peek in. But yeah, you can see right there. There's our materials building up. Flint, clay balls, and iron nuggets all ready to go. can't wait to have tin and copper set up. That'll it'll make our future in this pack way more convenient. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Of course, guys, be sure to click that subscribe button. It does take a lot of work to get these episodes out. And also check out my Twitch live stream. I do live stream over on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. So be sure to check that out. I do stream in the morning time, Central Standard Time, usually starting around 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And guys, of course, let me thank the sponsor or supporter of today's video. And that, my friends, is going to be a huge thanks going to Gizmo. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible. Guys, I really do appreciate you. Be sure to check out that Discord and, take a look at that premium membership section over there, as it does get you access to subservers. And at the moment, we do have a Create Astral subserver up and running. So, and people are always on it and having a blast. So guys, I would love to see you there. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic weekend. And as always, thanks for watching.